Rasmus Sangding is trying to make his presence on the blue line of the Yezi team feel as good as he can. Lewis, there was a moment, the other night in Las Vegas, when Maple Leafs defenseman Rasmus Sandin laid out Golden Knights forward Evgeny Dadonov with a big hit just as he received a pass in the neutral zone. It stood out for two reasons. The first, it was Sandin, who stands about 5'11", laying out the big hit. "I had a couple of bad plays on that shift, so I was a little peed," he said. "I saw that the defenseman was looking at him. I tried to read the play a little bit, and I just stepped up and it was a pretty good hit. It is an aspect of his game that the 21-year-old Swede is proud of. I like watching hits," Sandin said. "It's a part of the game, so long as you keep it clean. We're allowed to do it. I just think that there should be a purpose for the hit. They didn't get the zone entry there, so it worked out pretty well." The second reason it stood out is that it was a big hit. An art somewhat lost these days in a league that emphasizes speed and skill over size and brawn. "I think it's a product of the speed. It's a product of how people defend," Leafs coach Sheldon Keefe said. "These days, it's a lot more about angles and taking away space versus that big step up and the physicality. The players coming into the league, there's not a lot of guys. The younger generation of defensemen, the way they're being developed is different and they're built differently. From a young age, they're taught more to play with the puck and defend with angles and defend skating forward. So I think you're seeing the evolution of the game, and I think you'll probably see even more of that trend continue. This is not to say big defensemen are not part of the game. St. Louis' Colton Parayko and Tampa Bay's Victor Hedman, both 6'6", are evidence of that. But there's less of an emphasis on developing defensemen like Dion Phaneuf or Luke Schenn, both of whom could deliver thundering hits, and more on playmakers like Colorado's Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche and Norris winner Adam Fox of the New York Rangers, both more spry at 5'11". Even among the Leafs' defensive prospects, size doesn't seem to matter that much. Finnish blueliner Topi Niemela is 5'11", Mac Hollowell and Joe Dusick of the Marlies are 5'9". Still, physicality remains part of the game, and Sandin's physical presence may be the most underrated part of his game. He's better known as a playmaker, anchoring the second power play unit. Rasmus has always had that as part of his game, Keefe said. "I think back to his time stepping in as an 18-year-old with the Marlies, very physical. If you're going to be a little undersized, you need to be very physical, very competitive and fearless if you're going to succeed in the league. And he has that. That's what gives him a chance to play as a young guy." Sandin was back in the Leafs lineup Saturday against St. Louis, after having been scratched Wednesday in Arizona, in part because it was his turn in a rotation with Travis Dermott and Timothy Liljegren. When the Leafs are at full strength, there are salary cap implications that sometimes necessitate Sandin or Liljegren to be dropped from the roster. But with Justin Hall now on COVID protocol, the Leafs need all three. "We just have some really good defensemen, plus couple extras too that really could fit into an NHL lineup," Sandin said. "We want to rotate guys in, and then whatever happens with the salary cap or whatever it is, I don't really focus on that. I don't know too much about it either. It's not the best thing when you're sitting on top watching a game that you think that you maybe can play. But, at the same time, I'm back." Kevin McGran is a Star Sports reporter based in Toronto. Follow him on Twitter at Kevin McGran. Read more about Dion Phaneuf. Share, report an error, journalistic standard about the Star. Join the conversation. Question: anyone can read conversations, but to contribute, you should be registered Torstar account holder. If you do not yet have a Torstar account, you can create one now. Sign in, register. Conversations are opinions of our readers and are subject to the code of conduct. The Star does not endorse these opinions.